So that's why we watch in amazement. That's why we have the reactions like we did when we took Daniel Jones, because you just don't know. I don't want to ever have that kind of reaction again. And I don't think that we will. I think that Joe Shane's going to pick the right guy this year. And unless something is really off with Abdul Carter, if Travis Hunter goes second, there's no way they pass on him. No way.
No,
Chris,
unless the injuries.
Yeah. All right. So, Chris, go ahead, Audrey. I'm sorry.
Did anyone see Daniel Jeremiah's updated top 50? Because he has Abdul Carter as the number 1 overall best player in this year's draft. And Cam Ward is number 8 and Shedeur is 19. So I know he's just one of these analyst people, but I think it's fascinating because it just goes to show what always happens with the quarterbacks, that the analysts have them ranked one way and then the GMs have them ranked another way. And now I'm like, is there any possibility that they don't take Ward? Like, what if the Titans don't take him? We know that they love him and there's this, they've met with him a bunch of times, but the Titans are a mess. You never know.
I think
Cleveland would take him.
You say to yourself, and I know the old adage, we say it all the time as Giants fans, you could never have enough pass rushers. I get that. But you look at Kayvon Thibodeaux, he's approaching the end of his time.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But this just goes to show how much Chris and I work together, because this is exactly what I was going to ask you to start. This is exactly what
well, I mean, I'll ask it then. You look at Kayvon Thibodeaux and you say he's coming up on a contract year, right? He's got to produce. He's not going to be happy in that situation, right? Because if you draft Abdul Carter 3, that's going to lessen Kayvon's reps. There's no doubt about it. We could talk about how they could find ways to get him on the field at the same time, and they certainly could. But Kayvon's not going to be as involved in defense as opposed to drafting Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter. If they take Abdul Carter, you're going to have an upset Kayvon on your hands. Does that open up the door? Because we've talked about the Giants potentially looking to trade up if a guy like Shedeur trickles down. If they like a Jackson Dart, I don't know who it may be. Does that open the door to trading Kayvon Thibodeaux on draft night? I think it does. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if they draft Abdul Carter, I think it's entirely possible Kayvon could be traded on draft night.
I'd be on board with that. I try not to hate on Kayvon. Like, I really don't want to hate on him. I think he's a good football player. But I mentioned I really want Abdul Carter. So I was saying that I want Abdul Carter, and then maybe Kayvon's on the chopping block. Maybe you add him into the rotation, see how it goes a little bit if you pick up the 5th-year option. I think someone like Abdul Carter would light a fire under Kayvon's ass. I don't think he's lazy. That's not what I'm saying. I think he needs some sort of motivation to get him to play better. I think that's what it is. And I think that Abdul Carter would do that. And I also think someone told me that Kayvon being bad was just a narrative that I'm pushing. So I pulled up stats from 2023 when Kayvon had his best year, and he was not listed in the top 10 or the top 20 in edge rushers in the NFL with pass win rate, and I forget what the second thing was. Not even close. And maybe he'll be motivated, play better, and trade him in the middle of the year to someone else.
Kayvon shows flashes. You can see the potential. But again, when you're the 5th overall pick, you don't want to see flashes. Every NFL player, Daniel Jones had flashes too. That doesn't make you a good player. He's too inconsistent. And I don't know what his deal is. I like Kayvon. But to Chris's point, and Anthony, you can chime in on this anytime.
You're making a lot of money, Bad Dog, if you're picking him 3rd overall.
Right. What if Abdul Carter comes in and gets 16 sacks and 18 sacks? Well, then what? So you're going to pay Burns $30 million a year, Thibodeaux $30 million. You're going to pay $120 million in edge rushers alone. So it would make sense. I mean, you're kind of drafting his replacement. But Anthony, you've been waiting patiently, man. What do you think?
I wouldn't trade Kayvon Thibodeaux. I think it's important to note he's only 24, and the Giants had a scheme change, and it clearly had an effect on him. And the jury is still very much out on Shane Bowen and his ability to maximize pass rushers. The jury has always been out on Wink Martindale and his ability to maximize pass rushers. Wasn't Thibodeaux the first ever double-digit sack edge rusher in the history of a Wink Martindale defense?